So Cynthia Erivo is doing interviews now, several months after the Wicked for Good film. And don't you know, it wasn't her. People just don't understand her because she's a black woman. And that she was pretending to be a character. Apparently, she was also pretending to be bat crap crazy because her and Ariana Grande were just acting insane in the promotions leading up to the film. And she's taking it as, you just don't understand her. People don't want to accept women like her. It's like, no, it wasn't because of that. It was because you were acting absolutely nuts. So we're going to talk about this today. It's just me for this video. There's going to be two videos today that are going to be just me because they're both female-centric in the fact that these are women out there saying stupid things. And I have no problem calling it out, but Kneon doesn't give a crap. So he's just like, he's not going to get a word in edgewise anyway, so he figured he'd sit him out. But I'm here, so you got me. It's going to be some me time. So please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo. Woohoo. I'm also supposed to remind you to please go out to more.clownnfishtv.com if you want some more content that isn't available on YouTube. You can find it there. It is, as he says, less than the cost of a super chat for other people. You can have a month-long amount of extra content. He also wanted me to remind you that you can go out to Clownfish TV podcasts, wherever your podcasts are, you're getting them from. You can find us on Spotify and the different places. So go out and check that out too. But I want to talk about this. So it's me, Geeky Sparkles. Hello. And I saw this today and I was like, oh my God, of course. Cynthia Erivo survived Wicked and thrived. People thought I was being myself, even though it was green. No one thought that when you were playing a character, that was you. When people thought you were being not yourself, it was when you were or when they thought you were being yourself. It was when you were at the press events with Ariana Grande and you're acting like super clingy and super crazy. I'm sorry. But we're going to talk about this. This article comes from this KJ Yasmin, who interviewed Erivo. They're talking about different stuff she's done. And that they were talking, that they were trying to take care of each other. Her and Ariana Grande were trying to take care of each other. And right now she's doing her Dracula one-woman show in London. But she's a queer black woman, which we're going to hear about often. I'm just going to warn you now because don't you know that's all she is according to herself. Here's some of her comments. It's very interesting watching what people's perception is versus what the reality actually is, she says. A note of sarcasm creeping into her voice. Lots of psychologists seated at home deciding who we were and what we were going through and what we were doing and why. No, you came across as batshit insane. I'm sorry, Cynthia. I'm going to call you Cynthia. You like literally came across as nuts. And it wasn't just us. Even people who were supportive of you were like, what the hell? Even Hollywood was like, this is going too far. People were doing parodies of you because you were practically sitting in each other's laps. It was ridiculous. And even if you were dating, which, I mean, that was one of the rumors. I don't know if that's the case. I never thought it was. But even if that was true, people do it all the time. They don't act that insane. Like you're constantly holding each other's hands, playing with each other's fingers, like up on each other's faces, like, oh, rubbing each other's faces and stuff. It was nuts. I'm sorry. There's like a fine line between a normal relationship and just being overly ridiculously insane. And I think part of it was put on, but I think part of it was just because you're just batshit. But like, I think what happened was, and I was talking about this with Squid King, my son, and I honestly think this is the case too, because I was thinking the same thing. You got some attention for the holding space thing. And for those who don't know, in the first movie, when they were doing the press thing, one reporter was like, you're like holding space and all this other stuff. And they didn't know what that meant. Nobody knew what that meant. They just made this shit up. So they reacted in a very fair way, which was, oh, thank you. Oh, that makes me feel so happy because they didn't know what it was. So they're like, I can't say what's that mean. So I'm going to act like I'm super flattered that they're saying it because, you know, the intention clearly is that you're doing something good that we appreciate. So you're going to respond in kind because you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to make them look stupid. Very fair reaction that got a lot of attention and people were like laughing about it. Not so much at them, but like at the fact that the question that makes sense. Very fair. But it got all over the internet. So by the second film, I think that they partly were just hamming it up somewhat because they just wanted attention. But the way they were hamming it up the second time was so absolutely insane that they even split them up for doing press junkets because when they were together, they acted absolutely batshit. Like, the way they were like looking at each other and and holding hands and like playing with their fingernails. Everywhere you went, they were holding hands. And then, which is fine, I guess, if you're like scared or something. But then they were just like, there was a helicopter went over the one interview. Ariana Grande acted like she was having Vietnam flashbacks and was like, oh. And Reeve was like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Or was it the other way around? One of them was acting, I forget which one, but one of them was acting like they're having Vietnam flashbacks, and the other one was like, it's fine. And I mean, she brings up the point about the person jumping over and grabbing Ariana Grande, and like everybody's kind of froze, couldn't know what to do, and then she kind of stood in there and was pushing him off of her. That wasn't weird in the fact that the guy was invading a space, and like people were rushing forward to get him off of her, and he wouldn't let go. That's not the same thing. That's not what people are focused on. The stuff you think people are focused on isn't what they're focused on. They're focused on the batshit behavior, the over-exaggerated, when you put your hand out, like stepping back, like what? And the over-exaggerated stuff. That's what they're talking about. They're not even talking about the movie and you're working the movie. A lot of people said, oh, it was good. They're talking about your personal behavior when you're supposed to be yourself outside the film. That's what they're speaking of. All right. It's not that difficult to understand. I just think it's biting her in the ass and she's trying to separate herself from it. Is what's going on. So, they're talking about how when they first got cast, they made a conscious decision to nurture their relationship. Only like elitist, celebrities would refer to it as that. Most normal people like, hey, we're going to be friends. Let's be friends. And let's make sure we make time for each other. They're not going to be, we made a conscious effort to nurture our relationship. Like, nobody talks like that. I'm sorry. And they said that they almost did all their interviews together and leaned into matchy red carpet cosplay. That's fair. Black or green, or pink. They do that all the time for press events and premieres and stuff where you wear outfits that resemble your character in some way. That wasn't so weird. It was the way you were acting together that was weird. I think that people didn't really believe that we were actually friends. No. They think that you're more than friends because you're acting the way you're acting. But that's also because people don't know me very well. If I'm a friend, I'm a friend. If I'm not, then I'm not. Well, I'd rather you not be, because when it comes to being a friend, if that means you're practically crawling all over them and being over the top, like it got to the place where they even made fun of it, because anytime anybody approached, even before the crazy person jumped the fence, anytime I approached Ariana Grande or she was smiling at somebody, they have Erivo in the background, like staring down at them. It was creepy and it was weird. And I'm sorry. I'm a very loyal friend too. I don't behave that way because you were acting batshit. I'm sorry, but you were acting batshit. And then they said about her long acrylic nails. You have like flipping 9-inch nails, lady. And they're talking about, that she had intense scrutiny during Wicked. It's the nature of the work to truly embody and be different and be different people. Yeah, it's been for decades. She said, because I think sometimes, if I'm honest, people thought I was being myself, even though I was green. Nobody thought that. And I remember you getting so pissed because somebody made a parody poster, but it wasn't a parody. It was based on the original poster, and you got all pissed about it. And it was like, and you're saying it was because you're black, and you keep doing this. I'm so tired. It's because I'm a woman, because I'm black. Bill and Doctor Who, did I mention I'm gay? I'm gay in every episode. Just so you know, I'm still gay. It's like, we know. You don't have to tell us every time you turn around. We know. They're saying their inevitable obsessive interest in them turned to something darker. People weren't obsessed with you. They were just completely fascinated by your display of idiocy at every press event. Maybe it's because audiences are really confusing Erivo and Elphaba, who was scapegoated and banished from society. No, they weren't. They weren't. They were not confused by that at all. They were confused by your batshit behavior. You acted like a nut. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because by the time 2025 rolled around, both Wicked and its leading ladies felt, overexposed. No, you guys were like feeding into that. Considering they'd started promoting the film 9 months earlier, your baby was born. And they said they presented the Oscars, or because the internet loves backlash, this involves cutting women down to size. It wasn't about that. Oh, for fuck's sake, author here. I'm not even going to remember your name. It was KJ something. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. They see women all the time. Yeah, do women tend to get cut down more than other people? Sometimes. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes they do. And women will turn on other women all the fucking time. Like some of the most vicious, I don't know. I mean, guys can be dicks to women too, but some of the most vicious people I've ever had, that were other women. All right. But I'd also have people like, if you don't, you were a little bit chubby, you're a land whale. So there's that too. But I'm just saying, like, look, this wasn't about people cutting you down because you're women. It was because people liked the movie. It was about you acting insane. Okay? It wasn't about the fact that you don't have hair because you choose not to have hair or whatever. Or maybe you have alopecia. I don't know. It's not about that. It's about because you fucking acted insane. It's not because they wanted to cut women down to size. People were embracing you fully. Even after the holding space thing was funny. You guys came into the second promotion. You were already kind of acting weird in the first one, but the second one, you went all in. Like, never go full Erivo and Grande at a promotion because you guys just went, full in on that. I'm not going to use the word because I hate that word, but you went full, okay? And you looked dumb and you looked creepy as fuck. And that's why people were like, what the hell is going on? Are they on drugs? Is the Ozempic getting to them? They were like, what the hell? There are people who were concerned, rightfully so, that you guys were acting really, really, really weird. And it was like blink twice if you're being held captive, especially Grande. It was weird, okay? And then they're talking about that and they're saying, whatever the reason, as the press tour steamrolled out of Sydney through LA, Mexico City, New York, London, every gesture became magnified, turning Wicked into a whirlwind Erivo was not prepared for. It was magnified because you guys were out there doing it. You can say every gesture Erivo did was magnified because there's that one, it's a meme now, it's a gif, or Jeff, depending who you ask, where she's like sitting there with her arm out and she's like, oh, and she steps back like, everything she did was exaggerated. And I guess she's from theater. So of course everything that you do is exaggerated. When you're in theater, you have to over exaggerate because you're up on a stage and you have to, emote a little stronger than you would with a TV show or movie. I don't know if that's what she's used to. Don't know. But it goes on about, all the awards she won and hooray for her and all these things and how she got to present an Oscar and she got nominations and, cool. So people said that she was really good and she deserved it. So that's cool. That's not the issue here. If people hated her, she wouldn't be up for nominations. It's just that they're talking about the guy jumping over at Singapore, the barrier, and, no one thought it was weird of her to get him off of Grande. They're like, Michelle Yeoh was running over, too, to help after Erivo got there first, and she said he wouldn't let go of her and kept pushing to get off. Well, I mean, most women would do that, and most people would do that. Like, if I saw my friend or my coworker being attacked by somebody and grabbed, I sure as hell wouldn't just stand there and be like, oh, whoopsie. I'd be over there trying to shove this guy off of her too. Most people would do that. No one was judging you for that. Like, they thought that you were right to do it. I don't know what you're talking about. They said most people saw her as a hero. They did. But some dismiss the episode as an overreaction. I didn't see anybody dismissing it as an overreaction on that one. They dismissed other things as her being ridiculous, like staring down anybody who talked to Grande, especially if they were men. But I didn't see people dismissing it. Like, he was in her space and grabbing her. Of course she ran over and did something. And so did Michelle Yeoh. So they said that she was Ariana Grande's bodyguard. Yes, they said TikTok videos because it wasn't that incident. It was because every time a guy would come up to her, you would be standing in the background staring daggers at them. Everybody saw it. It was like, it happened so many times that's why it became a meme. They don't just do it because of one thing. It had to be something that kept repeating itself over and over again, and people took notice. Because you were acting batshit. That's why. Okay? But you get down here. This is where it all comes down to, guys. Inevitably. It always comes down to race, gender, sexual orientation, etc., etc. Not because you're acting like batshit. I think what we haven't really come to terms with is the insidious nature of how we view black women. It had nothing to do with you being a black woman. Nothing. Nobody gave a flying fuck about you being a black woman. You know what? They didn't care. It had nothing to do with that. The character was green. They didn't care. Okay? You're making this about race since that one person made the poster based on the musical, which was overreaction and ridiculous. Stop making everything about race because it's not. This isn't about you being black. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with you acting nuts. That's what it has to do with. You and Ariana Grande. And Ariana Grande got as much as you did because she acted batshit too. She's white. So, this narrative is crap. Are there times people are racist? Yes. Is this one of those times? No. That is not what's going on here. They don't like me because they don't like me because I'm black. That has nothing to do with it. You're acting insane, okay? And there was no way you could have missed it because you guys were the talk of the town, and I think you were somewhat putting it on because you wanted attention, but then it backfired because even Hollywood's like, this is nuts, and then you guys weren't like were kind of separated in the promotion after that because you guys were over the top, okay? Over the top. And Ariana Grande getting attacked by that person was after you already started the over the top behavior. It wasn't because you were overprotective because of that incident. Because that incident happened down the road from when the craziness started. So it was not the cause of the craziness, okay? It wasn't. But then they go, I'm sure people will read this and think, oh, for goodness sake, it's not about that. Yeah, because it wasn't. But it is, because that's what was being made fun of. No, it wasn't. Nobody was making fun of you for being black. They're making fun of you for being nuts. There's a big difference. It was my physique. It was my shape. It was the fact that I'm bald. Honestly, most people, I mean, there are bald women that choose to be bald or have alopecia or whatever. I mean, if you want to be bald, knock yourself out. Is it the norm for women? No. Do I think some people probably made fun of her for it? Probably. But do I think that was the main point of what people were calling out or mocking? No, you were acting insane. Also, don't take a shot every time I say acting insane because you'll be dead by now. Anyway, they said that it was, talking about her being bald. And because of that, there was this assumption that I was bigger than my co-star. Wait. And so I had to be controlling or protecting, and that was my role. Sweetie, no one thought because you were black and bald that you were bigger than your co-star. So what she just said was, people were mocking her because she was black, because she's bald, and because she's bigger than Grande. Well, her name's Lily Grande, so I don't think that she's bigger than you. That wasn't what people thought. They were not thinking that at all. They were thinking you're acting insane. Okay? I was protecting her, and that was my role. I would hazard a guess that it would have been the same had it been the other way around. Yeah, it would have been the same as the other way around because you both got called out for acting nuts. It wasn't just you. Like, again, the incident where you pushed the guy off of her was down the road in the press tour. You were acting crazy, and people were talking about that before you got to that point. All right? And a lot of people were like, oh, well, that makes sense because she's protecting her friend, and Michelle Yeoh come running over to protect her too. It wasn't like it was just you. You got there first. So anyway, they're talking about by the time award season rolled around, she was done. Did the reverberations from Singapore, but her campaigning for an Oscar, I think maybe in a way it did. I said I felt like my humanity had been bastardized. Only an entitled, self-righteous prick celebrity would say that my humanity was bastardized. There wasn't humanity. You acted insane. Okay? I felt like something I did instinctively had been made to be something that simply was not, because people see women who look like me and because assumptions are made. The Singapore thing is not what it was about. Okay? You keep going back to that. Like you protecting your friend was what was wrong. That wasn't what it was. That wasn't it. You were acting nuts the last movie's campaign, and you doubled down on the insanity at this one. And that happened like halfway through. You're already under scrutiny and both of you, not just you, both of you are under scrutiny because you're acting insane. It had nothing to do with this. A lot of people were like, oh, well, she's protecting her friend. Most people, there were some people said stuff about it, but most people didn't. However, I did make memes about you throughout the campaign because you literally kept staring down any dude that came near her, even before the Singapore thing happened. God, you can't even make this level of insufferable bullshit up. Just like I can't even. I just want to be part of that, really and truly. I didn't want to put myself through it. I didn't feel like I deserved it. It didn't help, she adds, that it felt like there was already a sort of upturned nose at the second installment, even though we were all there just for the second film coming and we were just doing our jobs. Because you acted batshit crazy from the beginning of the press tour. You acted nuts. And I don't know if it was because you got so much attention from the last time you acted nuts. It was inadvertently because, I'll give you a pass on the holding space because it was like that was a dumb question. But you got so much attention from that. You double, triple down on it. Oh my God. It got snubbed across the Academy, across the board. Yeah, because they vote for them. They vote for each other to do this. Hollywood even thought you were being fucking ridiculous. Everybody thought you were being fucking ridiculous, except for you. Even Hollywood was like uncomfortable by the way you were behaving. It was insane. I can't even. It goes on about her own show and everything else and about how she's doing her own show. And she said she has time to reflect on her experience for Wicked for Good. I haven't had that much distance. I guess I'm not necessarily looking back at that much because distance does make the heart grow fonder, you know? No, I don't know. So they talk about what she's going to be doing next and stuff and different, you know, projects. But this woman is an insufferable snob. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to take it. People just hate me because I'm black and I'm bald. And they think that that means I'm domineering. And it's like, no, they hate you because you're annoying. And you behaved in an annoying way. And then this interview did not make it better. This interview did you no favors. You know, what you said and how you behaved didn't do it. It did you no favors. I don't know what to tell you. I can't believe we're still talking about you. And I'm like bringing it up because I read the first paragraph or two and I about spit my drink out. It's like, just because I'm a black woman. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's not because of that. It's because you and Ariana Grande acted batshit crazy. So anyway, there you go. Erivo has learned nothing, but you can't judge her, guys. You shouldn't judge her by her crazy behavior because anytime you say anything about her, it just means you hate black women and bald black women too. Very specific. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.